Welcome to Cantonese Pod, inspirations for learning the lyrical, expressive, and beautiful Cantonese language. 廣東話博客 Welcome to Cantonese Pod. If you are a revisiting listener, welcome back. If you're a new listener, welcome. So, I realized that I have not introduced myself properly, so I will introduce myself first in Cantonese and then followed by the English translation. This is just for you to get a feel of the Cantonese language, and if you like, you can play back and try to imitate it. So, 我叫做 Benson. 我叫做 Benson. My name is Benson. 我今年21歲. 我今年21歲. I am 21 years old this year. 我今年21歲。我係大學生。我係大學生。I am a university student. 我讀數學同埋電腦。我讀數學同埋電腦。I study mathematics and computing. 我嚟自澳門。我嚟自澳門。I came from Macau. 我住喺倫敦有7年。我住喺倫敦有7年。I have lived in London for 7 years. 如果有啲咩意見嘅話，請寄去 benson.hoi@gmail.com. If you have any comments, please send to benson.hoi@gmail.com. So, we will properly begin the lesson now. Get your mind ready, get into a resourceful state of mind, and let's begin. Just to remind you about a basic fact about the Cantonese language, it is a tonal language. Basically, for example, ma and ma means two different things. So the best way to think of it is to use the analogy of playing chords. So if you know about chords, like for example from C, jumping from C to G is a dominant chord, etc. So it is quite useful if you know a bit of playing music, but then if not, then don't worry, just relax and you'll get it eventually. If a Chinese baby can get it, then why can't you? And then next I want to note about the use of romanization to transcribe Chinese words, especially Cantonese, into the Roman scripts, i.e. A to Z. So I think the best way, because there are no standard romanization, well there are many, but then it's not really useful, since if you talk with Cantonese speaker, they will not know it. Very few, unless they are a Chinese language scholar. So I think the best way is to use whatever way you want to transcribe it. So if you are not an English speaker, then just transcribe it whatever way you like. And then, so a note on learning the scripts, the Chinese characters. There are so many. I mean, if you just start by learning the script, I think you get discouraged quite easily. So why don't you get used to the sound first, then get to know the basic vocabs, grab the basic grammar. I mean, it's so easy to learn the Chinese grammar. There are no tenses. Just some word you can check in to express a sentence in a particular mode or tense. It's very, very easy. I'm not too sure what is the best way to approach the basic grammar of the Cantonese grammar, the Cantonese language. So I will start by telling you some points, some basics that just to enable you to construct basic sentences. I think this is, well, grammar is the building blocks for a language to make sentences. So I think if you grasp the following points, then you are well on track. So I'll start by teaching the demonstrative, the personal pronoun I, you, he, she, it, they, etc. So to say I in Cantonese, it is 我, 我, 我. It is like it starts with a sound which is non-existent in the English language, I think, because it is like a very nasal version of ng. 我, 我, 我. And then the word for you is 你, 你, 你. If you look at the dictionary, it is meant, the consonant is meant to be an N, but many Hong Kong speakers are too lazy, including me, and prefer to use L, 你. It sounds virtually the same to Cantonese speakers. So unless you're pedantic, if you prefer N and say N, you prefer L and say L. And then just a side note, sometimes when you hear Cantonese speakers speak English, they cannot differentiate between N and L and L and R. So this is just the way the language works. For example, like some Japanese speakers cannot differentiate between F and H, just for curiosity. So, and then the word for he, she, it is 佢, 佢, 佢. It's the same. It's basically gender neutral in Cantonese. So just to recap, 我, 你, 佢. So you wonder, how do you make them plural? How do you say we, you in plural, and they? Very easy. You add the gender. You add the plural marker. They. They. So to say we, you say I plural, 我哋, you in plural, 你哋, he, she, it in plural, 佢哋. Isn't it simple? Just to recap again. 我, 你, 佢, 我哋, 你哋, 佢哋. So for you to practice a bit, let's have a little drill. So maybe I will introduce you to a vocab now. 香港人, 香港, Hong Kong, 人, person, 香港人, a Hong Kong person. 香港人, 香港人, 香港人. So how do you say I am a Hong Kong person? The word for is, am, are, 係, 係, 係. If you have watched any Japanese anime or Japanese operas, you have heard the word 係. It means yes in Japanese, and for some mysterious reason it means is. The verb to be in Chinese. No idea why. So to say I am Hong Kong person, 我係香港人，我係香港人。You, 你係香港人，你係香港人。He, she, it, 佢係香港人，佢係香港人，佢係香港人。So I think you get the gist now. So let me just say it for all the personal pronoun. 我係香港人，你係香港人，佢係香港人，我哋係香港人，你哋係香港人，佢哋係香港人。So suppose you're listening on your iPod, then you can look at if you're on the train or something, then you can look at the people sitting next to you and silently repeat the phrase. It's very fun because you just don't need to know the gender. So even so, if you're looking at someone, you don't even have a clue whether he or she. Is very convenient in Cantonese because you don't even have to tell. As you may notice, when we start learning a foreign language, or if we go to a country for holiday, and the best and most effective way of expressing yourself is by finger pointing. You point this and that, and then so if you go into a shop, then you point this and how much is this and how much is that. You can just kind of express yourself using your hand. So yeah, just in the language, you always two words that are used very often: this and that, this and those. So in Cantonese, they are legal for this, go for that or those. So a little drill. This apple, 呢個蘋果，呢個蘋果，呢個蘋果。That apple, 嗰個蘋果，嗰個蘋果，嗰個蘋果。This is an apple. 呢個係蘋果，呢個係蘋果。That is an apple. 嗰個係蘋果，嗰個係蘋果，嗰個係蘋果。Next, I will teach you the possessive pronoun. For example, my, his, or her, etc. is very, very simple in the Cantonese language. You just use ge. For example, you want to say my apple, 我嘅蘋果. So just a drill for you to remember. 我嘅蘋果，你嘅蘋果，佢嘅蘋果，我哋嘅蘋果，佢哋嘅蘋果，你哋嘅蘋果. If you cannot remember the personal pronoun, then you can rewind your MP3 and go back to and revise. Okay, just a bit more to go. I hope you persevere. So in any language, you want to ask a question. This is the basis of communication, I suppose. Asking questions and answering. Maybe it's a bit controversial, was a linguistic point, but anyway. So how do you make a question? How do you ask a question? You add the question marker ga at the end. So if you know Japanese, how are you is o genki desu ka? It's really quite similar. For example, you want to ask what is this? Then you will ask 呢個 this 係 is 咩嚟 what 㗎 question mark 呢個係咩嚟㗎呢個係咩嚟㗎 I think it's the most useful phrase in any language to know the way to ask what is this 呢個係乜嚟㗎 Okay, a question for you. How do you ask what is that? I give you a few seconds. The answer is 嗰個係乜嚟㗎嗰個係乜嚟㗎嗰個係乜嚟㗎 Okay, we have done so far quite a lot of points already, but then I feel quite enthusiastic about the podcast today, so I will continue. Let me go back to numbers again. It's very important. Let me count from 1 to 10. You have probably listened to the previous podcast, but then practice is the mother of skill, so it's always very good to practice over and over again until, suppose I wake you up in the middle of the night and ask you to count from 1 to 10, then you can. So, 一 二三四五 That was 1 to 5. 六七八九十 That was 6 to 10. Repeat. 一二三四五六七八九十 So, because we are learning using the an express method, then I'll give you a question now. How do you say 6767 in Cantonese? Pause, and then I'll give you the answer. The answer is 六七六七. So let's move on. How do we say 20, 30, 40? Very, very easy. You just add. For example, you want to say 20, you say 2, 10, 20. 30, 30. Okay, let me say from 10 to 100. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. I still on track? 90, 9, 10, 10, 90, 90. So what's after that? You don't say sub, you say 100, 100. 百 is the word for 100. So you can also go up from 100 to 900 is in a very similar method. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, etc. The word for 1,000 is 千, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. And then you don't say 10,000 in Chinese, you say 萬 to express 10,000. 萬, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. So 3,000 will be 30,000. Okay, this was only half of the lesson plan I have planned, but then I realized that yes, it's gonna be about it's already about 18 minutes, so I don't want you to be afraid of the Cantonese language, so I'll just stop here and then I'll continue the next lesson, the second part of the grammar points, on the next podcast. I hope you have enjoyed this podcast. I'm not going to stop here. I'm going to give a basic summary of what we have learned. As I've said, I think the best way is for you to repeat over and over and over again. So what have we learned? To say I, you, he, she, it, and in the plural version, 我, 你, 佢, 我哋, 你哋, 佢哋. How do you say my, 我嘅? How do you make something a question? 㗎, 呢個係咩嚟㗎? How do you say this, that, 呢個, 嗰個? The numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 20, 30, 40, etc. So you have learned quite a lot already. I think now you have enough Cantonese knowledge to order fish and chips and to tell the price and ask for the price. I hope you have enjoyed this lesson. So please send your comments to benson.hoi@gmail.com. And then any suggestions, any praise, please send your email. Take care.